2024 meeting of Mayor and Council. I'm going to ask that Mayor Pro Tem Andy Gibbs lead us in prayer. If you'll please remain standing for the pledge.
Bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, just thank you for this evening. Thank you for bringing us all together. Thank you for all the things you do for us. Thank you for all the time. Lord, just help us as we make decisions that will move our community forward, that it will be the best decisions that will surround what we need for this work.
Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I move on to the first item, it's become tradition to recognize Leadership Lounge while they're in attendance. If the Leadership Lounge class of 2024 would like to stand, please, and be recognized. That is part of their civic duty to take in a meeting for both the county commission and the city council as well. So check it off and we'll take a picture to prove it at the end. We'll move on to item 2, minutes approval. We got a bunch to approve tonight, council. From the June 6th, the June 20th, and the July 11th meetings. Are there any additions or deletions to those minutes? Hearing none, they're all approved by acclamation. Council, thank you. Move on to ordinances and resolutions. Item A, consideration of an ordinance to amend Chapter 6, the alcoholic beverages, Article 2, licenses, and Article 3, operations of the City of Valdosta Code of Ordinances. Kim Hughes, our Main Street manager, will come forward and present. Kim, how you doing?
Hi, I'm great. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Thank you for taking time tonight. As you know, this is the second reading, and this is in regards to proposed ordinance change. In April of 2021, the alcohol ordinance was amended to define and add provisions for the downtown Valdosta Entertainment District that allows the off-premise consumption of alcohol within the DVD defined area. The following year, there was a proposal from downtown building owners and businesses to amend the ordinance to allow beer-only establishments within the area and also to exempt them from the food service requirements. In September of 22, the council amended the alcohol to accept these provisions. Now, before you is a proposal or a request discussion from downtown area property owners and businesses to add distilled spirits, which is liquor, to the ordinance. Now, this is the second reading, but I kind of want to take you to page 34 in your packet, if you notice. So there was some additional language added. So you'll see that in green, and that is to clarify and make things kind of more organized, cleaner, so that people can understand. In the second part of your packet, you will see it where there's the red line, as well as what was added and changed, plus the green. So you're going to have red for the red line, which was in there to strike the things that was maybe, some of it was duplicates or cleaning up. Then you're also going to see the yellow, which you've already seen on the first reading, which was the additions. And then the green that you see is a little bit of a clarification. And so I'll touch a little bit on those, and if you have any questions, we can talk about that. But again, in Section A, that is the portion that concentrates on the downtown entertainment district. And so you'll see where there was a striking to make it clear. The green that you see added is, again, to make sure that folks understand that this is the portion that is solely focused on the entertainment district. And so you'll see where we added the words, or the words were added in green, any, and for wine, malt beverage, and distilled spirits. And then the addition that we talked about with 150 feet between property lines to make sure that they weren't door to door, and then the cleaning up in red. If you move to the next section, B, this is a citywide, so that was actually included to say not included in the DBED. And you'll also see that in section D is the green that's added. But if you look at C, it says citywide. And the reason in D it says not the DBED, because again, it's different with, we have a tobacco establishment. So we want to make sure that it was clear that that was covered under DBED. So, and then I think someone had asked last time, and I want to make sure you'll understand. We cleaned up the language in section 684, number 2, and it tells the boundaries. So you'll see in yellow where the district is, and you'll also see the streets, and then there's a map. And I think that'll clean and clarify where the boundaries are for anybody that's considering that opportunity downtown. Any questions?
Kim, thank you. Council, any questions for Kim?
I have one there.
Please.
Once we make our motion, we want to have some changes in it. Our motion that we voted on at that time.
Yeah, let's discuss that. So we put it all in one motion. Yes. So what?
I'd like to make a couple of changes to it.
All right.
The 150 feet. The radius. I like to change that from 150 foot radius to 50 foot linear side to side. So we won't have to worry about this. You can have bars on one side of the street and not on the other. I like to make that change. And I can also make the amendment that they can start serving alcoholic beverages at noon on Sunday, and they close at same time that the state allows them to close on regular days.
Councilor, any issue on time?
We may need to amend. There is a section that specifically talks about Sunday sales. We may need to amend it there too. We can accomplish that. Just say,
Somebody brunch bill.
yeah, the brunch bill. And
So are you wanting the brunch bill to reflect alcohol sales as well, as far as liquor sales?
Right, on
Sundays, which brunch bill allows them to do it at 10:30.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We have a lot of churches in the downtown area, so we want to try to push that back to noon.
Not for all, right? Or just for liquor only? Or
No, for all of the spirits.
So you won't change the brunch bill?
Right.
Okay, that's a whole different.
you can certainly accomplish it. I don't know. There's a different section we probably need to amend. It can be done.
So that's a whole different. That's not here though, right? That's different, right? That's a different.
But what the councilman was saying is that he wants to, right now, alcohol establishments that meet the requirements in section 635A are allowed to open up on Sunday at 10:30.
Correct.
Right. Brunch bill. What I believe the councilman is saying, he wants to exempt this particular DVED district from that and let them start at noon. The way, not kind of the way it used to be, but it used to be at 12:30.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah, you go ahead. I'm sorry, Council. Go ahead.
If that's going to pertain to affect restaurants too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if every downtown restaurant that does Sunday brunch,
And you currently have some operating under that model.
yeah,
Probably the best way to do this is that if it comes to a bar, like an actual bar,
Without the food, that doesn't
Without
meet the
food.
food requirements.
I mean, without any food requirements, then you can put a stipulation on the bar that they cannot open until 12. But as far as like a restaurant like Downtown Social or, Southern Cellar or whatever, that kind of thing where they serve food, that kind of stuff, they can continue underneath the brunch bill. I would think would be the best thing.
yes, I do too.
That's what
We could.
Now, as far as the foot, are you talking about just 50 foot left or right, not in front and behind, correct?
Right.
Because right now it's radius.
Right,
now
I
it's
don't know the radius because it's a certain day that pretty much knock people out from being able to open up another establishment if they want to. Because we had one on this side of the street, it was in that 150 foot radius. You can't open up one right across the street. So we don't want to.
And most of our storefronts downtown are going 30 to 40 feet. So if you do 150, that's 6 buildings down. That's a long way. I mean, if we have a nice future customer, have a future business owner that wants to open up something, they got to go 6 stores out, 6 doorways out. I mean, that's quite a bit. It's a lot. I think it should be reduced as well.
But is 50 foot the best interest? Is there room maybe for a little compromise on that? The my only fear is that, and I may be the lone ranger in this, that potentially we could end up with 7 bars on one side of the street, and then 7 bars on the other side of the street.
So count buildings because of their width. It would be on every other. If you do it, take it down to 50, it would be in every other building.
So what would be your compromise?
Personally, I'd like to see 100, but
100 in linear.
100 linear, right?
yeah. But
So if you do 100 linear, and if it's at 35 to 40 foot, like Councilman Harden's saying, then you're talking 3 buildings before the next one can go in.
Your 2 buildings, that's 70. 35.
I'm talking about if you do 100.
Right, I'm saying 70 maybe better.
well, and think about it this way, if I may. Of course, every ordinance we have is amendable.
Right.
And if we go too loose on this, somebody's invested in opening a bar, and then suddenly we've got 82 bars downtown, and that's way more than we want, in all honesty. Yeah, I mean, downtown Valdosta is supposed to be, family friendly. Bars aren't necessarily
Family.
No, but it's harder to pull it back if you open the gate too much in the beginning. It's easier to come back and go, we're having too many problems. Let's give some more room for more buildings to convert. But you know what I'm saying?
So are you thinking 100 foot?
Councilman Howard.
I can amend my suggestion. That's what would be acceptable. That is.
Yeah, I think that's what this discussion is
Okay,
for.
I'd like to keep the part about the, remove the brunch bill, except for restaurants. They still able to do it at 10:30, but we're talking about hard noon. And I'd like to change it from, what I said, 50 to 70 feet. That acceptable, and still be able to close whatever time the state law requires.
Council, any further discussion?
Well, wait a minute. Are we doing 70 linear?
70 linear, not linear. We want to take radius out. We don't want radius in the domain.
Yeah, if you do radius, you've cut the people across the street off. If you do radius.
I'll yield to the majority of council.
What are you thinking, 100?
Well, all I'm thinking is it's easier to come back and go, we need to loosen it up and lower the distance than it is to come back later and go, oops, we need to increase the distance. Because once it's done, it's done.
My only thing is, I don't want to, someone could have a building down here that someone wants to rent, or someone wants to buy, and you're potentially taking the customer away from it. These ordinances that were put in place, they were put in place a long time ago. They're not put in place to hamstring us or to stop us from growing. That was for the time that was when it was put in place. Right now, we're in a different time. The house is growing. I mean, unfortunately, the house is growing. And we don't want to limit the growth because we're saying you can't. You want to give people opportunity to come back and start a business if they want to. And we definitely don't want to stop someone who has some real estate from not being able to put a building on the market if we say they're 5 feet too close. That's a lot of money. People paying taxes on buildings, so I think we need to.
Well,
I think 70 foot would.
Well, this very council put restrictions on how many liquor stores we can have.
You did, and it was lifted.
And a moratorium on
They don't want to do business too. I mean, if we're going to use that argument,
It was lifted.
All right, so I believe 70 feet is actually 3 buildings, and I think that's
Yes.
pretty fair compromise.
Yes, that's what we did.
Let me make one suggestion. If y'all ready, we can do 2 things. I do think there's additional sections that will need to be amended to take out the brunch bill. So you could either, if you want to see all of it together, you could either postpone it for one council meeting, or you could make this effective up to a later date, say September 1st. Give us time to make that change too. That way, you don't want to issue a license and then come back and say we can't have. So we need to make it come in at the same time. So we can have the other one at the next council meeting, or we can just postpone the effectiveness of
Make it
this.
effective September 1.
And then we can come in, if y'all see any other problems, we'll clean them up.
So basically what you're asking for, Councilman, is that you want to do 70-foot linear feet. Left to right.
Remove the word radius completely.
And you
And stop
want
there.
to, as far as the front bill goes, you just want it
Rest
to
of
display that only a car cannot move.
So
You would not be able to just cancel that. And the reason why I didn't want to enforce a time on the close, because, this is a military area. You have people from all over. Everybody doesn't watch the Bulldogs. You have people who come here from California. They want to watch USC. They're going to kick off at 10:30. At midnight, we tell them to close at noon. They got to get up and leave. We got to be flexible to count time for me.
And council, I think the recommendation here is to move on feet of separation and effective date only, and then we can come back and we'll come back and address the separation of. All right.
So I think the motion would be, the motion to approve this, with,
So if it's just the linear feet, that's fine. And if he's striking the brunch bill, then we don't need to make other changes. If it's just the linear, we're good.
That's where we're at.
yeah, that's
That's where we're at.
So, we'd actually have to come back on the brunch bill and the time too. So, so it'd be a motion to approve as presented, with the exception of changing the 150 radial to 70 linear. And it will make it effective September 1st. And then we'll have.
You're along the street.
Yeah, yes.
Left or right?
Along the street, right?
70
Along streets only or alleys as well?
Ma'am?
They're asking about along streets only or alleys as well, because now somebody will try to do front door, back door.
If it's in that range.
Along the street.
Yeah, can you do building?
Along the street, right around that other student house. I don't see how it's any problems.
There we do. I'm sorry, Matt. Matt, come forward, please.
It's the semantics of language. If we do linear along the street, I think we can include alleys in that as a public right of way. I cannot imagine the length of our alleys being way beyond 70 feet with the length of these buildings. I don't see that cropping up as an unforeseen one, but during the interim we can look and see. But the storefronts, some are wide, some are small. The 70 feet would be several small ones, but those buildings are 100+ feet deep. So even on a corner building with an alley, 70 feet down the alley, you're still next to the same building.
So we need to do front.
I would do 70 feet along a public right of way, linear along a right of way line.
Sounds good.
So when you say public right of way, we are including the alleys, because I hear you saying that the alleys is not.
Then we don't have to define what a street is, because alleys are public rights of way just like the streets. They're just small. But I think what they were trying to do is keep the radial spacing from jumping across the street and grabbing the storefronts over there.
Correct.
So linear takes care of that along the right of way line.
All right, good.
So,
All right. So,
So my motion would be 70 feet, including alleys.
so
Public right of way.
That's
Public
the
right
change.
of way.
along public right of way. All right. Council, any further discussion?
yes.
Councilman?
We didn't address closing times. Currently they'd be allowed to stay open until 2 o'clock.
My suggestion was to allow it to stay open.
This is a residential area.
downtown.
So I'll give you another input. It doesn't change the noise ordinance. The noise ordinance is 10 o'clock, and you have a loft apartments downtown. So regulate that.
I mean, it's 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock. It's up to the business owner to regulate the noise.
Nick,
I mean, y'all, we are growing. You go to any other city that's growing, that has any kind of nightlife, you're going to get some of that. Where you're going to get, you're going to have, for instance, Savannah's twice size, triple size, right? But I mean, speakeasies, different things, that aren't like those places where we think we're going to have all kinds of problems.
I mean,
You have
those
those
places in.
But you have other. It's not always a bad thing to have these places downtown and entertainment. Period. We gotta grow. It's gonna change. And you got some laws, but some of those people that go to the hotel downtown and to these other places, they come in town. They're looking for something to do. They don't want. Everybody ain't want to sleep. Some of y'all old. Some of these folks want to do something. Seriously.
You gotta tell me
Yes.
that's what I heard.
Maybe you're just sneaking.
That's what I heard.
A little older, and you want to see the house.
All right, so it's being I'm sorry, Ms. Tooley.
Yeah, I just want to say too, because of downtown, that is like part of the district. Listen to a lot of people talking. And I told them the reason we don't have activity is it's residential. We got a lot of people that don't want to run north. And they say they're never going to get a downtown. It's not going to be anything. They say it's not a community where just people don't sleep. If you want downtown, then
You want the ambulances, you want the urban lifestyle.
People have to expect to have, noise. So when you move downtown to be a resident or live downtown, expect that type of life.
Yep.
We're just never going to have a downtown that's thriving, that's inviting, or whatever. So that's one thing we need to look at too. We want economy. We want it to grow. We want some life downtown. And the residents that are living down there now, some of them have said, we do nothing. So we need to look at, I think they would accept some of the things with the noise. I mean, they have not had any big complaints. We haven't had any really, really big things. And I think if it got so noisy, I just think got a noise. And so I think we should give them the time. We should spend our time.
Well, as the resident old guy, I hereby yield.
All right. Council, any further discussion? Kim, thank you. Council, it's yours for action.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
That was a motion. That was a discussion.
So now I need to.
Council, it's yours for, it's yours for action.
I'd like to make a motion that we remove the radius out and put 70 linear feet along public right of ways.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
And make it effective.
And make it effective September 1.
Second.
2024.
2024. And a second. Any further discussion, Council? All in favor, show of hands. All in opposition, never mind. Council, thank you. Great discussion. Item B, consideration of a request from the Valdosta Lowndes County Airport Authority to approve a resolution authorizing acceptance of the Transportation Investment Act Supplement Agreement Number 1 between the City of Valdosta and the Georgia Department of Transportation. Ben O'Dowd, our city engineer, will present, and this will advance our control tower.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a incredibly simple agenda item. This is a revised agreement for a project which has already been authorized and is already under construction to clarify and provide compliance with TIA's requirements. They have modified their budget to bring it into alignment with the true cost of the project, and they are requesting that we basically sign this intergovernmental agreement to corroborate that change in budget. There are no additional funds that are forfeited by the city for the project. This is just a form that we sign that says, yes, we agree with TIA's decision to change their own project budget in support of this project. I can answer any questions that you might have on it.
Council, any
Actually,
questions?
We've already done one of these before, but the budget on this has changed twice now.
Any questions, council? Ben, thank you. All right, council, this incredibly simple request is in front of you for action.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the request as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, wonderful, thank you. We'll move on to bids, contracts, agreements, and expenditures. Item A, consideration of bids for the purchase of 7 rear-wheel drive pursuit vehicles for our police department. John Burton, motor pool superintendent, how you doing?
Pretty good. If it's all right with you, I'd like to combine the next 3 agenda items.
You may.
All right, thank you. First, item number 3779, consideration of bids for the purchase of 7 rear-wheel drive pursuit vehicles for the City of Valdosta Police Department. Bid number 012425. Sealed bids were received on July 16th, 2024. Cass Birch came in at the lowest price of $39,977 with a total cost of $279,839 for all 7 vehicles. I recommend.
Pause. Any questions on that first purchase? Proceed.
All right. Next item, 3780. Consideration of bids for the purchase of 3 rear-wheel drive investigation vehicles for the City of Valdosta Police Department. Bid number 022425. Sealed bids received on July 16th, 2024. And again, Cass Birch came in at the low bid of $39,977 with a total cost of $119,931 for all 3 vehicles.
Council.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
You said that is an investigation vehicle?
Yes.
So what type is it?
Detective Division.
SUV or?
It will be Chargers.
So,
Dodge Chargers.
We just ordered not too long ago.
Last budget.
Okay.
Any
Next
other
item.
questions on that one? Proceed.
Next item, number 3781, consideration of bids for the purchase of 3 SUV vehicles for the City of Valdosta Police Department. And again, Cass Birch came in at the lowest price of $43,947 for a total cost of $131,841 for all 3 SUVs. And the purchase of all of these vehicles, I recommend for the City of Valdosta to purchase.
Council, now any questions about any of the 3, A, B, 4A, 4B, or 4C? Yes. Eric.
Will this put that expedition out to pasture?
There is one on here, one expedition that is due to be replaced.
2008.
Yeah, 2008 Ford Expedition. And that'll take the place of one of the SUVs.
Council, any other questions? John, thank you. Council, yours for action are items 4A, B, and C.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve all of this submitted.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. All in opposition, same sign. Motion carries. Council, thank you. Move on to item D, consideration of a request to approve the dedication of a public ingress and egress easement between the City of Valdosta, 5 Points property, and the Georgia Department of Transportation for the advancement of the roundabout project. Ben O'Dowd, our city engineer, to present again.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request for, as stated, a 30-foot ingress-egress easement. The intent of this ingress-egress easement is to provide public access to Mr. Gene Sego's property. The ingress-egress easement will encumber the city's 5 Points property in the same way that same width, 30-foot ingress-egress easement encumbers the 5 Points property for Wendy's, as well as the Farmer's Furniture parcel. So this is basically just a a legal formalization of our guarantee of his access to his own property. As part of the Roundabouts project, if you're familiar with the intersection, at the intersection of Ashley and I can't remember the other road name, and that's terrible for your city engineer, but I'm going to blame sleep deprivation because of a newborn. Brookfield, where it comes through. So at the intersection of Brookfield and Ashley, the entrance is kind of awkwardly split. So there's like an entrance driveway, and there's an exit driveway at the signalized intersection. Those two, the entrance and exit, are being consolidated. Fortunately, the entrance is entering onto Mr. Sego's property. And so whenever the entrance and exit are consolidated and are located on the city's property, there has to be some kind of means for travelers to get from the city's property onto Mr. Sego's property. That's what this easement formalizes. It's basically a formalization of our agreement to allow people to cross our property very briefly to get into Mr. Sego's property.
Well
Any
stated.
questions?
Council, any questions? Ben, thank you.
Yes.
Council, again, yours for action.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the request as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Ben, thank you. We'll now move on to item 5, boards, commissions, authorities, and advisory committees. Item A, consideration of the determination of the City of Valdosta Ethics Complaint Board. Richard Hardy, our city manager, will present.
Thanks, Mayor. On May,
I have a question about that. Before we do that, I just wondering, question on that. Is this, in general?
Yeah, let Richard present, and we'll open it up for questions.
Okay.
yes, Mayor, on May 21st, 2024, an official ethics complaint was issued against Councilwoman Vivian Miller Cody by Anita Riley, Neighborhood Development Community Protection Manager for the City of Valdosta. The ethics complaint was officially delivered to Councilwoman Miller Cody on May 22nd, 2024, and was then officially delivered to the mayor and each council member electronically on May the 22nd, 2024. At the May 28, 2024 special call meeting, council voted to approve the nomination of J.D. Rice to the Ethics Complaint Board. The mayor then appointed former city council member and Mayor Pro Tem Alvin Payton Jr. to serve. Those two nominees submitted the name of Attorney Roy W. Copeland as their selection for the third person to serve on the Ethics Complaint Board. Mayor and council approved the nomination at the June 6, 2024 City Council meeting. The Ethics Complaint Board met on July the 6th, 2023, and selected Attorney Roy W. Copeland to serve as the chairman of the Ethics Complaint Board. They reviewed the ethics complaints and heard testimony at that meeting. The Ethics Complaint Board then announced that they would meet again in 7 days as per the ethics ordinance to present their determination. The Ethics Complaint Board met on July 23rd, 2024, and presented their determination. Recommended respondent receive a private reprimand by mayor and council. In accordance with the Ethics City Ordinance, public reprimand or censure by the mayor and council, or request for resignation by the mayor council. For your action.
Mayor, I have a question for clarification.
Pause for a second. Before I ask for a motion to go into executive session, Sandra, do you have questions? Sorry, formality. Go ahead.
First of all, could you clarify that? Did I hear you? Who you say was did you say the mayor pro tem? Did I hear you?
Alvin Payton is
Yes.
former.
Oh, you said former. I didn't hear that. You did say former mayor pro tem?
Yes.
Did you say former fire chief?
What's that?
Did you say former fire chief?
I did not. I read basically on the as agenda item.
But why did you say why did that be included that it was a former mayor pro tem? Why was that included? His previous title, why was that included?
So you're asking for formatics. You would like J.D. Rice recognized as a former fire chief?
I'm just wondering if it had any bearing, the reason you mentioned that. I just wondering why would we state his previous position?
That has no bearing on this if you want something corrected, we can correct it. We can do by addition or deletion, but that has no bearing on what we have before us today. I'll now entertain a motion to go into executive session to further discuss this item.
Make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Personnel and litigation.
For personnel and litigation, I apologize.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. We now stand in executive session and the room has to be cleared. All right. Council, we're back to item 5A, consideration of a determination of the City of Valdosta Ethics Complaint Board. Are there any further discussion on the item before I give it to you for action? No further discussion. It's now yours for action.
Mr. Mayor,
Eric?
as a result of the findings of the City of Valdosta Ethics Panel, we move to publicly recommend Councilwoman Vivian Miller Cody as required by the City Ethics Codes.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Hold on.
Any further comments? I apologize. Any further comments?
I would like to read this to everyone that's out front in the public, sitting here. It says, good evening. To the distinguished panel of the city appointed community leaders that have been taking the panel to address an issue that seemingly has brought me to this space. I'm concerned of those that may have been offended by and being overly proactive in attending the needs of District 1. To the city of Valdosta, the city of Valdosta, citizens of Valdosta. Therefore, it has always been my purpose to serve both the citizens in their quest for information and the city's personnel response to issues and concerns that I may have had in the past regarding my need to be present. It is important to me that my position as a city council member was never presented as a negative influence on any employee of our city. I am proactive and involved in making not only District 1, but being a part of a system that supports Valdosta continuous growth and developments. If during my journey as a city councilwoman, have offended anyone, please note that it was not my intention, nor a selfish goal on my behalf. To those that felt put upon by me, please know that my own intentions have been to retrieve information that could be utilized to further my personal growth and development, in the same for the city's growth and development, that will positively ensure at some point I will be able to pass the baton to the upcoming official in a manner that will warrant his or her willingness to step in my shoes. To the members of this panel, to hear all sides of this issue and to know that I do not declare myself to be perfect, because every day I wake knowing that I have much more to learn and to serve me. To Anitra and employees that I may have offended in my efforts to gather information that could assist me in further understanding my obligations, I sincerely apologize to each of you in your respectful positions. In closing, I thank each of you for your unbiased approach to handle this issue, and I can certainly assure you that we will not meet again in this forum regarding anything of this nature again. I have learned that when things go wrong in your command, start searching for the reason in increasingly large circles around your desk. Respectfully, District 1, Councilwoman Vivian Miller. Thank you.
Ms. Cody, thank you. Council, any further comments?
Well, I think, Mayor, as we built consensus during the executive session regarding the well-done apology and acknowledgement councilman has provided to us, and in particular that she's provided to Ms. Riley as well as other department heads with the city of Valdosta. I do accept her apology on behalf of this body, and that our pledge will be that she said she'll never do it again, and it'll be our job that step forward if she does. I appreciate your effort.
Councilman, thank you. Councilman.
I would just like to say, stand that too, as being a councilwoman, and I'm thinking also from our executive session that the council is going to go forward with providing different process, so this doesn't happen. We don't want our department heads to think that we are trying to deliver you or accuse you of doing anything really negative. I support them. I love our city workers. I try not to, cause any confusion. So I think going forward and just trying to find a process, it's going to show you that we got your back. We are looking out for you, okay? We want some good communication.
Councilwoman, thank you. All right. We got a motion and a second. All in favor? Show of hands. You may vote. It's unanimous. Council, thank you. We're now going to move on to citizens to be heard. It's the portion of the meeting we ask you to come forward and state your name and address so we may have it for the record. Our policy requires you stay under 3 minutes so that others have time to be heard. Please direct all comments to council as a whole. Do not attempt to engage individual members of council in debate. It is our policy to follow through with you and your concern. Additionally, we ask that any groups that want to address the council designate one spokesperson, again, to make sure that all can be heard. Having said that, are there any citizens wishing to be heard tonight? Please come forward. And again, state your name and address.
Good afternoon. My name is Avery Ann Calhoun. My address is number 9 Sharper Circle. On Saturday, June 9th, between 2:28 and 2:29, I was in my bedroom next to my office that I had walked out of. I heard gunshots, not realizing what it was, and definitely didn't realize it was in my home that I used as an office. At the time, my granddaughter, Kiara Smith, was driving up with my granddaughter and great-grandson when all this was taking place. So I went to the door to let them in. When I went to get my cell phone from the bedroom, I noticed in my office the TV was damaged. I called my granddaughter and I said, that looked like a bullet hole. We both agreed, so I called the police, and Officer Brooks came in and also confirmed that it was a bullet. He also noticed that it had damaged my bookcase that was in my office. He then went outside and came back inside. He said there were 2 bullet holes in the side of the house. Officer Brooks had me to write down what happened. He gave me a case number. My daughter and her husband came over, David and Chandra Holmes. My daughter actually pulled up the sound of the gunshots on my phone. On Monday, Detective Cassiano called me and asked about the cameras around my home. I told him that they were there before the incident. My next door neighbor, who lived next door to me for 27 years, told me that she couldn't live in that area any longer because she had grandkids. She didn't feel safe anymore. Also, a couple of months before that, before school was out at HLC, there was a deadly shooting in the apartments behind my home. This happened in broad daylight. I was going home, and I remember they put the school on lockdown, HLC. The body of a young man was covered up in the parking lot at the apartments. My question to the city of Valdosta is, what are we doing about the violence in Valdosta? Is there any way we can put cameras in Scott Park? And I do have 7 copies of the bullet shots that were in my home and how they damaged my home. I don't know who I need to give these to. And that's my question to you. Can we have cameras in Scott Park, or what can we do?
Ms. Calhoun will address it as soon as the meeting's over. So please stay. Thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time? Seeing none, we'll close out this portion of the evening. Move on to the city manager's report.
Thanks, Mayor. We have a lot going on the remainder of July. July the 27th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have the Back to School Community Block Party at Unity Park Amphitheater. Backpacks, free haircuts, and things of that nature. Getting our kids ready to go back to school. On July the 29th at Performing Art Center Focus Group meeting. This will take place at the Rainwater Conference Center, located at One Meeting Place. First Friday, Main Street, downtown. Inviting everyone to come out and enjoy the activities. August 10th, all day long, sidewalk sale, downtown, Main Street. Again, come out and enjoy the festivities and what's taking place, what's going on downtown Valdosta.
Richard, thank you. We'll now move on to council comments. Council, anything you want to address? Councilman Howard? Councilman Gibbs. Sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Gibbs.
First of all, I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. And it's been a long evening as well, and thank y'all for staying around. I do want to address the fact that we can't go into a lot of detail as far as the executive session goes, but I do want to actually come out and let everybody know as far as our department heads go. For me, where I stand, how I feel about the situation, y'all work very hard for us, and y'all do everything that we need for y'all to do. I am in y'all's corner. Based upon the decision we came back with, with 4 out of 5 being no merit, it put us in a situation to where, the step that I felt that needed to be taken was not warranted at this time. But I want y'all to understand that, with the fact that Councilwoman Cody did call me last night, she did apologize to me for it, I believe, and then as the letter that she read to y'all as well. That being said, the one thing that I will tell y'all is that, our whole goal is to make sure with us that you can talk to us, that you can express how you feel to some degree to what you need to be, but at the same time that you don't have to feel like you got to, be walking on eggshells as well. So I hope that's the case. I hope you understand this, is a decision of the first step. I hope we're not in this situation again. I really do. I hope this is the last of it. I hope we're never in this situation ever. I've been on council for 7 years, and we've not been in this situation before. But what I want y'all to do is understand, and I'm talking to our department heads. Keep doing the job you're doing. Do what you're supposed to do. Do it within the means and of your guidelines of what's needed. And thank y'all for that. Keep moving forward. And I appreciate everything y'all do for us and the extra that y'all go beyond what's needed actually. Because I know a lot of y'all do way more than what you're supposed to do. And I definitely, speaking from me, I appreciate that a lot. It means a lot to me. Thank y'all.
Andy, thank you. Eric?
I'm going to go a little step further than Councilwoman Gibbs and Councilwoman Tootle. I'm going to say to all our 650 plus city employees, we thank y'all for what y'all do. Not just the department heads, although you guys do a wonderful job here. These employees make this department heads look good. But I want to go back and touch on the shooting incident. These judges who try these cases and allow these people to come here and make it just like you. Once our police officers go out and arrest these guys who do this shooting, they're granted a bond or something like that. So our police are doing the work by arresting. I guarantee you, if Sheriff Parker keep them in there, so someone is giving these guys bond to get out and reoffend. So when election time comes, not my judge, but sometimes their hands are tied. So it's not our police officers that are not doing what they're supposed to do. These guys get bonds, talk to the judge or vote them out. If you feel like they should be letting people out, I don't think you should be letting people out in front of your houses and shoot at people. So I think you should be held in there until you go to trial. So that's one thing I wanted to discuss. I mean, just to let you know that we feel your pain. My house was shot. So I know how this. I know how painful it is. With the I know we discussed quite lengthy on that alcohol ordinance, but that's one thing we want to make sure that we get right, because we don't want to hinder people from doing business in our city. We also want to make sure that we maintain our city, I guess you would say, family atmosphere. So with that being said, I don't have anything else.
Any other council comments for tonight?
Make a motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.